Okay, I thought I'd do something different for a change and show you the anatomy of a track. That's what they say, I think. I'll just give you a breakdown of what goes into making a particular song. This particular song is for an upcoming TV show, and that is going to be on a certain night of the week, which I actually sing in the lyrics. It's on the weekend, so that kind of narrows it down to one or two. This is a relatively simple track. It's only got 53 tracks. That's not a lot for me. So I'm going to just give you a blast of the whole thing first. Oh yeah. All right. Sounds like a Saturday night show, doesn't it? Definitely. One of the references was Celebration by Kool and the Gang, great song. So one of the first things I looked for was what I call a celebrational synth. Oh yeah, that's definitely celebrational. But mostly when you start with the track, in this case, you start off with the drums. So we've got a nice simple drum groove there, very, very disco. A little bit of hi-hat. Yeah. Bit of funky cowbell. Ooh, love a bit of funky cowbell. Hoo! Okay, we've got another drum pattern here called Scratchy Knock. I wonder why it's called Scratchy Knock. Fairly straightforward. There it is. Scratchy Knock. Next thing I try to think of is a bass, which I have called Bass Balls. Because it is a ballsy bass. Oh yeah. All right. So that's our ballsy bass. We need what I'm calling a crazy synth. And this is just a riff that just kind of gives the song an identity. And it goes a little something like this. There you go, that is your crazy synth. And we stick a bit of classic strings on there. Give it that kind of nice alright vibe. Then we've got an intro riser. Oh yeah. We've all heard those before in Relight My Fire. And then we've got a spectrum riser. Ooh. I've called that spectrum riser because, well, it reminds me of the old computer. I'm showing my age. It was called the ZX Spectrum. But yeah, any retro 8-bit video game. So then we've got the riser. What every song like this needs is some of Nile's licks. And when I say Nile, I mean Nile Rodgers. I don't mean Nile out of One Direction. Yeah, Nile Rodgers, you need a bit of that guitar. Oh yeah. Oh. Yeah, you'll get lucky with this song. Woo! Let's get the bass back in there, because obviously the bass is a very important part of the track. Here we go. Woo! Yeah, next up we've got a very popular disco stab. Did you hear that? Or it's called the orchestra hit. Just gives it a little bit of drama and excitement. Here it goes. Cool. And we've got a bouncy ball riser. Hear that? Does a little bit more later on. Here it goes. You need a bit of that now. Feel like the party's getting started, hopefully. Cool chords on the keyboard. 3, 4. Yeah. Woo! Now I've got an EDM crash, very popular. There we go. We've got Nile on the bridge. Here he comes. Yeah! Woo! Next up, I've put a little bit of what I call Gibb on guitar because it sounds very much like one of the Bee Gees. Could be Maurice Gibb playing guitar, or Barry Gibb. We need a really tasty bass part for the bridge, and that's going to sound a little something like this. 2, 3, 4. Pretty tasty, right? There's not a lot of songs these days that don't have this. The Haze. I don't know why Haze is so popular, but that's what you want. Okay, next up I've got something called White Boy Funky. Now why I've called White Boy Funky, not because I'm a funky white boy, because it reminds me of play that funky music, white boy. Yeah. And then we've got a little more Nile. Can't get enough Nile. Woo! So how are we doing now? We've got the bass, we've got the crazy synth. Next up, I've added what I call the sonic synth. Ah. I think we know why we called that the sonic synth. Now we've got the swirly synth. Oh yeah. Next up, I've got the busting brass. Gotta add a little bit of brass. Tambourine. Next sound I've got here is what I've called the smoking EP, the smoking electric piano. I've called this the 80s New Romantic Synth. So let's put them all together. Woo! Are you ready to hear some vocals? Okay, I'll give you a sneak peek of the vocals. It's Saturday, it's Saturday, it's Saturday, it's Saturday. We've got something going on. Oh, who was that? It's Saturday, got the vocals layering up. It's Saturday, it's Saturday. We've got something going on. And I'm sure some of you thinking, was that a robot? Was that a robot I heard in there? Yes, it was. We've got something going on. If you didn't think that robot was cool enough, then how about this one? We've got something going on. And you put those two together. We've got something going on. Me wearing extra tight pants for these ones. We've got something going Saturday! And that was the breakdown, the anatomy of a track. Took about a day to produce. There are samples and a lot of parts played in as well. Put it all together and this is what you get. Don't forget the haze. Just in case you didn't know what day it was. We've got something going on. And then of course you've got to have the delay at the end. And that was the anatomy of a track. See you next time.